and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will learn about control structures in C programming. Control structures are programming constructs used to control the flow of execution in a program. They determine the order in which statements are executed based on certain conditions. Importance of control structures are: 1. They enable programmers to make decisions and repeat tasks based on specific conditions. 2. They make programs more dynamic, flexible, and capable of performing complex operations. We have three types of control structures. The first one is sequence, second is selection, and third is looping, also known as iteration. Sequence control structure represents the default flow of execution in a program. Statements are executed in the order they appear from top to bottom. An example of a sequence control structure is this program that declares the variables A, B, and C, and C is the sum of A and B, and our program then prints or displays a message that the sum of A and B is C. Our second control structure is selection, and this allows a program to make decisions based on certain conditions. It includes the if-else statement, switch statement, and conditional operator. An example of an if-else control structure in a program is a program that requires a user to input their age and then displays whether or not this person is eligible to vote. In our program, if a person or a user types in a number that is 18 or more, it will print out the message that you are eligible to vote. Otherwise, it will print out the message that you are not eligible to vote yet. The flowchart that displays how a selection control structure works is as given in this slide, where a condition is evaluated, and if it is true, one set of actions is done, and if it is false, a different set of actions is done. Our next control structure is switch, and this is a selection control structure with multiple possible paths, which means a program can take on more than two paths. And in our example here, a user is asked to enter a number between 1 and 3. If the user enters number 1, the program displays that you selected option 1. If our user enters number 2, the program displays that you selected option 2. And if a user enters number 3, the program displays that you selected option 3. If a user was to input a number that is not 1, 2, or 3, it will print a message that says invalid choice. This is the flowchart that shows a switch control structure. If your condition equals the first case or the first condition, it will execute the first block of codes. If not, it will check whether the condition is the same as the condition 2 set, and if so, it will execute the second code block. If not, it will check whether your condition is equal the third condition set. If yes, it will execute the third code block. If none of the conditions match the set conditions, it is going to display a default code. Our next control structure is looping or iteration, and these structures enable the program to repeat a certain set of statements multiple times. It includes the while loop, do while loop, and for loop. For the while loop, a statement or a set of statements is repeated while a condition is true. For example, in the program shown here, so long as the number is less than 5, the program is instructed to display the statement count plus the number. For example, count 1, count 2, count 3, count 4, and count 5. When the number is more than 5, or when the condition of the number exceeds 5, it stops executing these while loop statements and continues towards the end of our program. The flowchart that describes a while loop control structure is as shown below. After the program starts, it evaluates the condition. If the condition is true, it executes given statements, and then the program goes back to check whether the condition is still true. If the condition is still true, the statement is executed again and again until the condition becomes false when the program moves on towards the end. Control structure that is of looping type is the do-while control structure, and this executes statements at least once and then repeats while a condition is true. In our example given here, it will first print out the first statement, which is count and then the number. Then it will increase the counter number, and then it will check whether the increased counter number is less than or equal to 5. If so, it will repeat the statements inside the parentheses. But if the count number is more than 5, it is going to go on with the program and end. The flowchart for a do-while control structure is as shown here, where it first executes statements and then it checks whether the condition is true or false. If the condition is true, it repeats or it executes those statements again and then checks once more whether the condition is true or false. This continues until the condition becomes false, where the program continues towards the end. The next control structure that is of iteration type is for, and this is a control structure with initialization, condition, and increment or decrement in one line. And in our example here, it shows that we are initializing our counter number as 1. Our condition is that this counter number should be less than or equal to 5, and ours uses an increment. So for every time it does our statements or it executes our statements, it adds the counter number by 1 and then checks to see whether the added counter number is less than or equal to the condition number, in our case, which is 5. So it is going to keep printing the statement count and the number until our counter number, in this case I, is more than 5, and then it is going to continue with the rest of the program, or in our case it is going to end the program. For loop flowchart is as shown in this diagram, where a program starts and continues to execute sequentially until it reaches the condition, and our condition in this case is this the last item? Our last item in this case should be the number 5. So if the number is less than 5, that means the last item has not been reached. So it will execute the given statement and then try the next number or apply the increment and then check again whether the last item has been reached. This will continue until our last item, which is number 5, is reached. And then when it is reached, the program is going to move out of that loop and continue towards the end. So as a summary, our control structures are essential in C programming for controlling the flow of execution. They include sequence, selection, and looping structures. Proper use of control structures enhances program functionality and flexibility. Sequence control structure executes statements in order. Selection control structure makes decisions based on conditions, and looping control structure repeats statements based on conditions. These are the control structures that we have, and the examples given above demonstrate the practical usage of control structures in C programming. Thank you for your time, and any questions are welcome. You can type them down in the comment section and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you once again.